In today's episode of Valorant for Beginners, I'm gonna answer the most common question of all, which is, hey, what is the best sensitivity to use? I am asked this on my stream hundreds of times, and I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. Every player changes their sensitivity all the time, and that's because there's not one sensitivity that fits all the players. So you need to find something that will be fitting towards your playstyle. And I have a test that I think is a great way of finding the first sensitivity that should fit you. Even if you have hundreds of hours in Valorant, you might find this helpful. So I go to the practice range and I choose Breach. So now I go to the practice range area, and from this angle, I'm gonna use my ultimate few times. The goal of this is to reduce the amount of bots that I have in the range. I would like to have 1, maybe 2, right? For this test, actually 2. So now I have 2 bots in this practice area. And reducing the amount of bots is also very helpful when you normally just aim practice, because this is the only way of reducing the amount of bots that you have here in this area. But now, how to do this test? Because we want to get to know if our sensitivity is too high or too low. In my case, I use 0.2 sensitivity with 1600 DPI. Now, when I'm gonna move from the one bot to the other, I want to see when I flick how close my crosshair is to the bot. As you can see, I play a lot with this sensitivity, so it's pretty close to the bot. It's many times on the bot when I do this flick, right? So that means that my sensitivity is good for me. But now, when I'm gonna be using the sensitivity when it's way too big, I'm gonna be overshooting. As you can see, I overshoot a lot. I want to go on the bot, but it's like nowhere near, right? It's way too low, way too high from the bot, from one bot to another bot, right? So I want to reduce it. Now the thing is, if I would reduce it too much, let's say I'm gonna go for 0.08. Now when I flick from one bot to the other, right, I want to compensate, and I can see the sensitivity is not big enough for me to be even close to the bot. That means that my sensitivity is not high enough. So I want to change my sensitivity to the moment when I feel I'm gonna be comfortable. Now, when you're gonna be finding the sensitivity, you're gonna test this like almost every day, because it's gonna take time for your brain to be accustomed with this. So whenever you log into Valorant, go into practice range and do this test for a few minutes and see how your brain adjusts to the sensitivity that you will do. So every day you will change the sensitivity a little bit, but after a few days of doing this test, you will find the sensitivity that is gonna be good for you. And then you can practice more and build up muscle memory to be really good at finding the correct spot between your crosshairs when you're gonna be flicking, and then your brain will be making you a better player because you're gonna have a sensitivity that fits your playstyle. One more thing that you need to understand, and many players, even the very advanced and veteran players, don't really understand. My sensitivity is 0.2, but my DPI of the mouse is 1600. Now, when I use 1600 DPI with 0.20 sensitivity, it's the same as I would be using 800 DPI but 0.40 sensitivity. It's the same, right? And it would be the same if I would be using 400 DPI but 0.80 sensitivity. All of those numbers right now are exactly the same. And my mouse would be moving in the game exactly in the same way if I would be using 1600 DPI 0.20, 800 DPI 0.40, or 400 DPI 0.80. Now, what's the reason to use higher DPI when you could have the same effect with lower DPI? With higher DPI and higher polling rate of your mouse is gonna be more detailed on the screen, so your aiming will be more precise when you move your mouse. So it's better to use higher DPI than lower DPI. At some point, of course, it becomes not really important. And right now, with the technology that we currently have in most of the mouses, 1600 dpi is the sweet spot. So if your mouse has 1K polling rate and 1600 dpi, you should probably use it to reduce the input delay as well and also make the mouse more precise. Hope you guys learned something, and remember to not change your sensitivity by changing the DPI. Keep the DPI the same, but change your sensitivity when you're altering the settings. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next episode of Valorant for Beginners.